Breath in movement. I discovered something in those early yoga classes that I'd been seeking without knowing it. When the teacher would say, breathe here, expand here, let the breath move into this space, I finally understood what I'd been fumbling toward all those years with my library book and my bedroom floor. I found it again in dance. That moment when someone guides you. Inhale as you reach and exhale as you fold. Let the breath carry the gesture. I experienced how breath could lead movement, how movement could shape breath. They weren't separate things I was trying to coordinate. They were always one fluid conversation. What I learned then, what those teachers gave me, was not just technique. It was awareness, the ability to notice where breath lives in my body when I move, where it catches, where it flows, and where I've been holding instead of releasing. I still carry this with me decades later. It's become natural that I sometimes forget it's even there until I need it. When I'm walking and feel tension building, I remember. Breathe into the stride. When I'm reaching for something high, I remember exhale into the extension. When I'm simply standing, I remember let the breath find space. The gift of guided practice was learning to feel the architecture of breath inside movement, not as something to add to movement, but actually as its foundation. I experienced how an inhale can create space and how an exhale releases what is unnecessary. In dance, I learned to let breath initiate, to feel the impulse of an inhale travel from center to fingertips, to let the wave of an exhale fold me, catch me, carry me through. The music might set the tempo, but the breath sets the quality. In yoga, I discovered how breath could reveal where I was forcing, perhaps where I was resisting. The poses that felt impossible would shift just slightly when I stopped fighting and allowed breath in, not because breathing made me stronger or more flexible, but because it helped me find what was already available. I remember learning to breathe in child's pose, such a simple thing. The teacher's voice saying, feel your back expand with each inhale, feel it soften with each exhale. And I did. I felt my ribs move against my thighs. I felt my spine rise and fall like a gentle tide. And I remember the movement I'd never noticed before becoming much more real and present. And what still serves me is this, knowing how to check in when moving through my day, carrying bags or climbing stairs. typing at my desk, I can return to breath. You can return to breath, not to control it or to perfect it, but to notice it, to say hello, to feel where it wants to go and what it's trying to tell you. Sometimes I catch myself holding my breath when I concentrate, that old pattern of tensing up, bracing. And then I remember, breathe, not as a command, but as a return, an invitation to soften back into the natural rhythm that's always been there. I found through guided practice that breath, it gives texture and direction, and it has presence. An inhale rises, gathers, it creates, and an exhale descends, it releases, and it settles. Not every breath is the same either. Some are shallow and quick, and some are deep and slow. Some catch, and some will flow. The awareness I gained was learning to meet each breath as it came, to feel it arrive and to let it leave, to sense how it shapes the space inside me now and how it responds to the way I move and even speak. All these years later, even when singing and learning breath control, I'm so grateful for the voices that guided me, whether it was yoga, dance, or even song, for the teachers who said, breathe here, and then gave me time to find what that meant. Teachers who didn't rush me, who let me discover the feeling for myself. Because now, when I need it, I have this resource, as do you, this knowledge that lives in our bodies, not in our minds. We don't have to remember the words or the technique. We just have to notice, am I breathing? And if not, why? Because I can. Can I let this step include a breath? Can I let this reach have an exhale? Can I let this moment of stillness have the rising and falling of my own chest? What I learned, what I experienced, and what still serves me is that breath isn't something to add to movement. It's something I remember is always there. It's already there, waiting for us to notice it again. Enjoy your breath.